Yo, what's up, y'all? So this is Jay Alexander, the Last King, 162. So I'm back at y'all with another video. So today I want to talk about a vision that I just had just last night. This was a crazy vision. So in the dream or the vision, I was falling. And I was falling with a couple other people. And as we were falling, it was getting darker and darker. And I was having a hard time seeing at the bottom to where we were falling to. And I realized that our parachutes were not working and that I was going to crash. So eventually we did crash and we landed. Well, not landed, but we crash landed. And I was probably the only person who survived the landing while everybody else died in this place. When I looked up, I saw Michael Jackson. Now, Michael Jackson was sitting at a console inside of a recording studio. And one thing I forgot to mention is that when we fell, we actually fell through like a glass roof or glass ceiling. So when we hit the place, it was a lot of glass shattering down from the ceiling once we hit. Okay. Now, I noticed that there was some really good music playing. Like the music was really good. Like I can almost probably relate the music to you, but I don't know if I want to, but the music was really good. It was Michael Jackson. He was singing. It sounded very similar to probably what you would expect on Earth, but actually it was probably slightly better. It sounded really good. And I noticed you had some people in the studio that all of a sudden raised their hands and they volunteered for something. And the thing they volunteered for was to jump out of an airplane. All right. Now, somehow I knew that these people knew that there was only a 40% chance that the parachute would actually open once they jump out of the plane. And my question was, why would somebody jump out of an airplane knowing that there's a 60% chance that they might crash to their death? That doesn't make any sense to me. But then I started to realize that the music that they were playing had something to do with it. The music somehow made people fall in love with Michael Jackson to the point where they were willing to jump out of an airplane knowing that there's a 60% chance that they'll fall to their death. And I was like, man, that's crazy, right? So all of a sudden, Michael Jackson gets up out of his seat and he puts his arms like over his head, like he's bracing for something. And all of a sudden, the glass at the ceiling breaks and all of these people fall into the studio into their death. OK, and when Michael Jackson kind of runs off a little bit, he had like a balloon in his hand that had like a smiley face emoji on it. It was a little bit different, but it reminded you of a smiley face emoji, like he was happy or something like that. You know, he couldn't actually speak, it seems like. But then all of a sudden, Michael, he was back in his seat at the console listening to music. And I looked around and I saw dead bodies all over the recording studio, right? I saw some people who looked like they were alive at first, but I realized that they were dead. You know how in recording studios, they always have a sound engineer. So the sound engineer was sitting upright like he was working, but I noticed his head was missing. He didn't have no head, right? And then I looked over and I saw another guy who was also sitting upright, looks like he was working, but I noticed that, and this is a little graphic, but I noticed that his head was bashed in and that his jaw was protruded forward and it was split multiple times, as if somebody bashed him over his head in just in a real gruesome type of way. It was very gruesome and gross the way it looked. So at that time, I got kind of concerned and even a little upset with Michael. And I asked Michael, I said, do you like being surrounded by these dead bodies? Like, this is gross. Do you like this? And he did not respond. And then all of a sudden, this thought just popped in my head, or this voice I heard said that these were his competition. So then I was like, okay, so I guess that maybe he viewed these people in the studio as competition and he had them killed, right? So then I knew that there was about to be another group of people that was going to fall through the ceiling again. And right before that happened, I woke up, right? Now, when I woke up, before I opened my eyes, I heard a voice that said that he never thanked Jesus. He never thanked Jesus. And I was thinking, I was like, wow, that sounds a little true, because I don't really recall Michael Jackson ever really thanking Jesus or giving him any kind of glory in his music, or just ever. I may have heard him thank God, but never really acknowledged Jesus Christ. I never really heard it, really. So then I got up and I walked around for a while. This was 5 o'clock in the morning, because I was so bothered by this vision, and I thought about it for a minute, and I sort of realized that the reason why the people were dead in that studio was because he didn't want to give those people in their credit. He wanted all of the credit for himself, including Jesus Christ. He didn't want to give Jesus credit. He wanted the credit for himself, or at least that is the impression that I got from the vision. The impression that I got from the vision is that he wanted all of the glory and all of the praise for himself, and he didn't want to give anybody else any credit for anything. Now, no disrespect to Michael or his family, but I have a sneaky suspicion that the place where I was hell. That's just my sneaky suspicion, because the place was very dark. It was very gruesome. Michael Jackson was there by himself playing this music. Nobody else was around except for dead bodies. And you have people who loved and worshiped him falling in, dying, and falling in and dying on impact in this place. Another thing that I forgot to mention is that I never really got a good look at Michael. I didn't really get a good look at his face, but I have a strong feeling that if I had looked at his face, it may have looked similar to how he looked in Thriller, the part where he kind of turned into a zombie. I have a feeling that he was not going to look very appealing at all. So that's just the little vision that I wanted to share with y'all. Maybe it means something. Maybe it doesn't mean anything at all. I don't know. Maybe I've been watching too much Michael Jackson stuff lately. I don't know. But the thing that really kind of caught my attention was when I woke up and he said he never thanked Jesus. That's the thing that really kind of got me thinking, like, man, it really hit me when that's the part that really made me want to share this vision. So I guess that's it for now, and I guess I'll talk to y'all next time.